Hello, and welcome to Delight in Fright. We have some very special guests with us here today. We have Ramon and Wilson of Bad Kids Production. Hello, gentlemen.
Doing? How you doing?
Good, good. I'm doing well. Sadly, Luna is not feeling well today, guys. That's why she's not joining us. So we'll send her all our well wishes and hope that she gets better soon.
Wish you gets
Oh
better very
yeah,
soon.
absolutely.
Yay. All right. So let's get into it. So tell me a little bit about Bad Kids Production, and why you started this production company.
Well, we done like we always. It's funny because we been knowing each other since like second grade,
Nice.
and for a long time we always like learned like we always watched a lot of films together, and we're like, man, maybe one day that would be kind of cool. We did something like that, and over time we did have desire. One film in particular, I think for me that made me want to do film because when I was younger, I was like into movies like Pulp Fiction or Evil Dead and all these other of course classics. It made me eventually like what, I want to do a film like these one day, and then eventually, of course, over time when new movies coming out, you want to be like, oh, there's a new inspiration or there's a new more inspiration or oh, this film is recent, is really good. So eventually, I always wanted to do films. So ever since like I think out of what 20 years old, 21.
Like yeah, no, I would say like late teens, like yeah, early 20s, we decided to really take off and like be serious of like let's actually like get some gear, start filming stuff, and really just kind of stick to our guns as far as content goes and like what kind of style of horror, I guess you could say, in the genre we're trying to do and bring. So yeah, like that's really what kind of wanted us to start Bad Kids was just let's see, bring something new, I
Yeah.
guess.
Awesome. I love that. And that's why we do what we do here at Delight and Fright, so that, you guys we all want new ideas, right? But this is how
Yeah.
we get these new ideas. We have to support our independent filmmakers. So
Yeah.
thank you
Exactly.
for joining us, gentlemen. So tell me a little bit about your horror love of horror. What kind of sprouted that, and how early did you see your first horror flick?
So with this.
Oh man, it's interesting because I wasn't into horror as much when I was younger. Like first, of course, like if I had to say first horror film, would be The Lost Boys, of course. Like it's just
Nice.
I rewatched that, I think 100 times. The Exorcist, but it wasn't until like he was way more of a horror fan than I was, so it wasn't until like we really started hanging out that he put me on a lot of horror movies, and it's when I think I really started appreciating and loving the genre. Um, so yeah, that's
Yeah, like I mean, for example, like Fright Night,
Nice.
was Evil Dead, of course, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, one of my favorites. Like eventually we started showing each other movies and we're like, oh, let's
yeah.
watch this, you know what I mean? And once we watch, we're like, oh man, this is of course the horror, it elevates over time. So but this is basically that's what we enjoy the most, like in that genre.
Exactly, and then that's very similar to me and Luna's story. I grew up watching horror with grandma and mom. It's just what we did. We snuggled up, and enjoyed the scare.
Yeah.
Luna, she wasn't able to with her family, so she's kind of breaking into things now. So I love exposing her to new and fun and crazy things.
Oh yeah.
So and I love that favorite. One of your first horror films was Exorcist. That's so a lot of people I find that's what actually makes them terrified of horror. That kind of brings them out of the genre, but you were like, "Nah, I'm okay. I'm okay. It's gonna be okay."
Oh, 100%. It was just, I mean, but I also saw it, like, to be fair, like a little bit later in my teen years. So I was just more
Okay.
just like, it was by then I kind of really appreciate the time it came out. But it's still no doubt about it. It was one of those. It's still to this day is one of those few horror films that just aged great over time. It's
Mhm.
you those are some just horrifying images. You know,
And it depends on how you've seen it. I mean,
yeah,
when I was growing up, I saw it on TV, so then when I saw an actual unedited copy, I was like, "Wait, what is she doing with that cross? Oh, no."
oh my god. I mean, it was ahead of its time as far as disturbing factor
Yeah,
goes.
yeah.
But and to bring it to the mainstream.
Absolutely. So, since second grade, gentlemen, and I love that you had a plan, you made it come to fruition. It's real. you're making films now. So tell me about what you're working on right now.
Well, as right now we're working on a short film. It's like a horror comedy of like a cult, and don't want to give up too much of the story away, but it basically it involves a sacrifice that they have to do. But it's just a little certain situation that happens. But of course, we can't. We're gonna
Of
make it as a
course.
short film for now, but we're trying to get the process of like the dates, locations, and all that to eventually film it when it's like around September when we end up doing it.
Yeah, that's so far the game plan. I mean, it's again kind of the idea is to shoot it in that VHS found footage style, like really take it harness back to like almost mockumentary. I know it's still probably still going as far as the genre, but probably make it feel more authentic and
There you go. Oh, no.
there you go.
Yeah.
No, I disappeared. Okay. We're
No,
being abducted, guys.
you're good.
Blink,
You're good.
blink, gentlemen, if you need assistance.
No, but that's pretty much the game plan. Yeah, the what's coming is just our next short project, and just hopefully put it out there.
I love it. I love the cultist. Those damn cultists, man. When
Oh
I'm
yeah.
Diabloing, they're the worst.
Oh no.
It's like these fucking cultists. God, they're
Oh
everywhere.
no.
And then
Great ones, great
driving
ones.
today, so we were like, again, damn it. Okay. Ah. Okay, I'm back.
No,
I'm
you're good.
back.
You're good.
Those cultists, they got me.
No,
No, but we were
we
my
got about too
husband
much. You
my
just like you
husband and I
said.
were leaving, and there was like a bunch of people like standing in their yard, and then we drive by and they like just stare at us, and then we move along and they're still staring, and we're like, oh my god, did we just pass some cultists?
Yeah, no, I would drove a lot faster if I just did that at
Yeah,
that
for
point.
sure.
Oh man, it's scary though thinking about it at
No,
that
no.
point.
So who wrote this short?
We both did. We both
Nice.
wrote and we're both gonna write and direct it. So and eventually, yeah, they like right now we're kind of like just scheduling everything out at this
Yeah, right now
point.
it's all we're just still in the pre-production phase, trying to get the cast together,
Yeah,
planning our schedule, budgeting, of course, because yes, even now, still not cheap to make movies
especially with
sometimes.
the gas going up, it's hard to make movies now, honestly.
So try to do what we can as far as resources go, but that is the goal is to try to get it done by this year and by getting it going by September.
Yeah.
Awesome. And how long is this short going to be? Do you know about?
If we were guesstimating, probably somewhere between like 5 or 10 minutes, give or take.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Yeah, it's
around there.
one of those kinds of shorts. Yeah, nothing too crazy.
Eventually, like once the short is done, we do want to do like a little GoFundMe to like kind of raise funds for it because like of course like we always save money to make our films and what we can, but of course the GoFundMe always helps along the way. Like, hey, if anyone can help us out, like we basically did a film Perdition and we did a GoFundMe for that, so we are gonna use that short film to kind of like help us out to like, hey, like, this is a serious project. We eventually like want to make it to a full length feature.
What do you find that you primarily spend most of your funds on, or what aspects of the film are you not willing to like cheap out on?
Um, that's a good question. Because honestly, the we always usually put a lot of money like before we have someone who did audio for us, and we didn't want to cheap out on audio at all.
Yeah, we put a lot of money into
Yeah,
audio, mostly ADR and sound effects and everything, especially with this last project we did. Because we're very like, I guess you could say like just super detailed when it comes to just
yeah,
specific how audio is recorded, and then we're just like we just don't want to come across like just too like just
Absolutely.
something that just sounds too fake, I guess.
yeah,
The
Um,
audio is so important.
yeah,
That's a dead giveaway. When you're watching a low budget film, you're like, oh
yeah.
no.
Like especially
Sometimes it
having that
makes it
sound.
unwatchable. You're just like,
Yeah.
no, I can't.
So that was the most money we spent on last project for that. But I would say honestly, making a whole, especially like production process, like casting, you want good casting, so
actors,
yeah,
yeah.
like, you're willing to pay for them, but hey, like you want better. I'm trying nicer way to say it, I'm sorry. a nicer way to say because I want to say something. So, you just want to pay for the performance and all that.
Yeah, I mean, and you want volunteers, you want
Volunteers, exactly.
actors that are willing to give their time to get, their face out there and be seen.
Yeah,
Up and comers is ideally what you want to look for in the independent world.
yeah, exactly. No, of course, and of course, if you can have help, like, because people are always willing to help, and there's nothing wrong with that. But hey, the more I can get help for it, the better too. You know what I mean? But it
Mhm.
does comes along like the whole production. I would say like even camera equipment sometimes depending like we had to spend money on a VHS camera,
Yeah,
so it took a good like not too much, but we did have to pay for other stuff as well.
yeah. It's just, I mean, but we're also in those kinds of like situations where we both work full time, also, and it's just sometimes work life gets in the way, and actors sometimes have like the more free time than us because we're just trying to get everything as much as we can to squeeze in, and
Yeah,
so it's sometimes scheduling is a huge thing, and time is a huge thing, and time is money, they say, and a lot of that goes to that
Yeah.
sometimes.
yeah.
And that's what brings me to my next question. How do you break up the work between you 2 so that, like, does one of you have more of a strength in one area versus another so that you can get things done as efficiently as possible?
I'll let you answer that one.
Um, in what way? Like, in what way you mean by that exactly?
Like, since you're both directing this one or you're
Yeah,
both writing, as far as the direction process, would one of you be working more with the actors while the other's working more with special effects, just depending on where your strengths are? Or are you the opposite? Are you like, I'm not very strong in this, therefore I want to take lead on this so I can learn?
I would say Wilson. When it comes to like talking to actors, Wilson's really good at like at least giving an explanation because there'll be times where like I'll be like, oh, I want this and that, but with me, it'll be hard to explain it while like we're in person because I'll be like, oh man, like I want to do it this way, but of course I want more detail, but it's hard for me to explain. And Wilson will find a way to be like, oh, he just want like this. Oh, okay, cool. I'm like, yeah, I probably should have simplified it that way. I don't know why I should have just gone with that route, but he's way better when he talks to actors and knows like how to guide them like very well. And
Nice.
then yes, I was saying that part.
No, yeah, and then like as far as like well, like we both have many strengths in regards to like I think we bounce off each other. One of those things also like I'm not one for like storyboarding, but this guy is a totally sucker for storyboarding. I
Nice.
should learn that though, to be fair, because there are times where we come to like shooting something and I'm like last minute, like, oh man, I don't know how we're gonna frame this. And he's like, oh, I already had this idea. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah. So there are lessons that we learn from each other, but I definitely learn a lot from directing wise too. And I think he's definitely more in like strength wise as far as framing and like just like, oh, okay, we should have this cool shot or have this thing, and he has a really cool image on certain things. And I'm just like, I like that he has that strength on that. So it's more of just like but we always bounce off ideas
Yeah,
off one another if we're gonna be like, oh, like maybe this we should shoot something this way, and they'll be
yeah,
like, oh yeah, we should, or they'll be like, oh, but I think we should shoot this way, and it's like, oh yeah, that is a better idea. So it's literally that back and forth.
yeah.
It's
Even the writing process too.
yeah,
We kind of like egg each other on. Like, no, I think this idea works. Like, no, I think this is be better. I'm like, I don't think so. I think this will work better. And then we always because we will have our moments where we do clash. Of course, like I'm pretty sure any creative process, like you're always gonna clash with someone that has a different idea more than the other. But if you can find that middle ground between these, like, because with him, he does find solutions most of the time. So he'd be like, "Why don't we just do it this way?" I'm like, "That's a way better idea. Okay, I like that one better. So we'll stick with that." And that's just how we have our creative process going along with it.
I think it also just helps that we've just known each other for so long too. It's like the
Yeah,
second grade,
yeah.
so
It's the
we
second
also
grade at that point.
at
So
this point we've known each other's taste, and like where we know like, okay, I know he's gonna like it this way, or he
yeah,
knows like, oh, I think Wilson will like it this way, and like that.
And you
yeah,
have to be open to new ideas, especially in
yeah,
the
Yeah,
independent film or I mean world, sometimes you'll realize that a shot that you really want isn't gonna work out, but if you can come at it from a different way, a different perspective, you can
Yeah.
usually find your solution. And Ramon, my husband, feels your pain. He's like that too. Like sometimes all the information just goes into his head at once, and then it just can't get out.
Yeah, no,
So
honestly,
I'll be the one to like translate, you know?
like I'll be honest with you. Like sometimes, like talking, I'll be like, oh man, I'm a little nervous, and I'll be, I'll try to find my words together to kind of processly say like cohesively instead of just jumbling all the words together. Be like, wait, that didn't sound right. Okay, so yeah, I do have that part where I could probably learn a little bit better on, but over time it'll get better.
I mean, that's why we're all different. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You
exactly.
complement each other. You don't want to be working with someone that's just like you, right?
Yeah,
What they
exactly.
bring
No,
into
for
the
real.
table. You
No,
know?
of course. You got that balance,
We never have that work done, that's for sure.
No, exactly. Not at all.
Awesome. So, what is it that you gentlemen love about independent film thus far? Of course, it's always growing, it's always changing, it's always evolving. Why why is your interest so embedded in film?
You go first on that one.
Yeah, that man.
Because we had a conversation about this not too long ago.
Yeah,
Nice.
I think it's mostly just because like horror, it's a beautiful genre. I think it's a genre you can go anywhere. You can go sci-fi horror,
Mhm.
action horror, comedy horror, anywhere horror. And it's always like you said, it's a genre that's always evolving, and somehow there's always something new to the table compared to any other genre.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the beauty of why anyone could just go into this and maybe with a fresh idea, so it could bring something as simple as it might be, maybe something great. And some of the greatest horror stuff came from independent horror. Our one of our goats is David Lynch. Guy came out. He's not. Some might not say he's a horror in the horror genre, but he's very close there as far as like
Oh, yeah.
Eraserhead and stuff like that. And that was a film that just like was just like no other independent filmmaker like ourselves. In the midnight horror film community, and one day it blew up.
Yeah.
So, it's always interesting that someone could just think of something and it could be the new norm in the horror genre.
Yeah, I mean, like, especially, I would say great example. Like now we have like this kind of like luminous like space.
Yeah.
Like now we're getting a backrooms movie, which is like kind of new to a lot of people. And I think the movie that kind of like launched was kind of like Skinamarink, not like Skinamarink,
Mhm.
kind of like a new phase of horror, of like analog horror and all that. So like as each time, like horror just keeps progressively getting like different. Like, oh, this could be a new style of horror, or
Mhm.
this can be like especially like The Substance.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen it. I don't know if you've seen the movie or not, but I'm sure
Oh,
you have.
yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, that movie
It's
made it
great.
to the Oscars. Mind you, it's an independent horror film.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, body horror and all that, like it definitely has
It's getting
that
that cliche.
it's getting that potential, like, oh wow, like see when the Oscars going on, that's crazy
Yeah.
to see. So I feel like, independent films, like they're getting bigger and bigger, and more ideas are coming out. I feel like now, like I don't know, obviously I'm not gonna say I was there around those times, but I could imagine old Hollywood where independent films were going along, but they were so limited on some things. As of now, you have films like Terrifier where you show so much violence on screen, something that I'm sure back then would have been censorized or would have been straight to DVD or video VHS.
It
It's not
definitely
become
would have been on the
mainstream.
video nasties list,
Oh
that's for
yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
definitely. It would have definitely like guaranteed there, but it was one of those movies that made it to the top of like, holy crap, this is mainstream. Now it's selling for kids costumes at Spirit Halloween. So it doesn't show you like independent films are growing, and I feel like people are now accepting it like a little bit like a lot more than
Mhm.
before. I could be wrong about that. I'm
Absolutely.
sure it's been receptive, but
No, I agree. I can feel there's a resurgence coming.
yeah,
The horror follows the trends of what's going on at the time. What's going
yeah,
on in our world is extremely horrific, and our country sways really strong from one side to another. So I am hoping we will sway to the we love and care about people side once again.
yeah,
But in the meantime, we have horror to get us through the day.
yeah, exactly. Honestly, horror is like
Like
a,
that.
a nice coping mechanism right there. It's like, oh, this is, I might
I'm
as well put
cozy
this.
here.
Yeah, I'm cozy here. It feels better here.
Yes.
But yeah,
Controlled chaos. Something you can
exactly,
control. You could hit stop.
exactly. You can stop or you can just walk. You know, I live it every day, but yeah.
So,
Uh,
that brings me to my next question. Where do you see the future of independent film going? Not necessarily horror, but just independent film in general. Do you think the future is going to be, do you have some hope for it being more prevalent, or are you more of a narcissistic type and you're like, "Nah, it's gonna be terrible."
no, even though like there's some other directors nowadays, like of course they always say, "Oh, films are getting worse and worse." But I feel like I'm sure that's what they said about those movies back in the days, those independent films like from the 80s and 90s that now have like cult followings or eventually like got big over time. It's just gonna be like I just feel like that's just how time's gonna go on. Like now those movies won't get appreciated, but over time I feel like every independent film over time usually gets appreciated. Like for example, like David Lynch, or you have like even like The Room, even though it's a bad film,
Mhm.
but it's over time it got appreciated because it was so bad it's good, but it was entertaining to watch. So independent films, I feel like to me, I feel like it's always gonna like live on no matter what. Like if it's not appreciated now, it eventually get that appreciation down the road. And but then again, like what we said earlier, like I feel like just like horror, just like how other regular independent films are going, people are just gonna be more accepting to it because maybe there's some stories that they put in indie films that they would never put in mainstream films. You know what I mean? Like there's it's just depending on what kind of crowd you're looking for, what kind of taste as an independent filmmaker you're gonna try and aim for. If you aim at it, cool. If you didn't, then who knows, you might have a different crowd that might like it that you didn't expect. So it's just depending on like people's perspective of like what each film comes out. I don't know if you would agree.
No, yeah, 100%. I mean, we've talked about this
Yeah,
all
I
the
was gonna
time.
say because we talked about a lot about this. Like,
Um, I think like every once in a generation or decade, there's always like that one moment where even in independent horror, like there's always these new horror films that start coming out, and it's from the independent scene. It's not from Universal. It's not these big name studios. It's these lower studio guys. Again, Terrifier, great
yeah,
example. That just recently, and The Substance is another great one that's going to be. We could see that being iconic over time, and it's one of those movies people are going to look back on like, oh, this is a classic. And again, I feel like independent horror is always the ones, always kind of the underdog heroes when it comes to bringing something new to Hollywood or in these bigger companies because it's always brand new ideas. So, these are people that are always, bringing something original to the table. It's never based off anything. It's someone's idea.
yeah. Especially like Sean Baker's films is a good example too. Like the
Hmm.
Florida Project, like it's very small. Just you just see like as life goes on every day. But that movie became really big, like a very independent like film community. A lot of people talk about it, so it's like you found an audience for it. So obviously, like, it's depending on like who catches it and if it gets promoted or not, if people find out about it or not. But yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So, what have you gentlemen done in
Oh no!
Oh no.
here?
They
No,
I'm
he's
being
good.
abducted again.
again.
They got the cultists.
Those damn cultists.
There you go.
So, I hear you gentlemen have a film currently, a short, in a film festival. So, tell our audience a little bit more about that.
It's that one's actually like our like first real full and feature that we've done, and we officially got it done. Well, I think last year, right?
Last year, yeah, yeah, yeah. Just about. Yeah, it's making its film festival runs right now. It's recently about to go Boca. Boca.
Boca's Film Fest,
That's what is it in
Marriott Island
Marriott Island in Florida. So it's in like next weekend. So next Saturday,
next Saturday.
but hopefully right now it gets more just recognition in the festival circuit, or hope, and then if not, we're going to be trying to do our best to put it out there in public as far as like some sort of platform, whether it be just something on streaming. But that is the goal right now, and that's just right now where it's at.
Yeah, we're trying to find a way to eventually put it on Tubi. Um, but of course, right now before we wanted to do that, we kind of wanted to kind of give it more like let's see what film like going through the film festival runs. Once we have Bocas, we probably might want to do another premiere. later on. That's 50-50. We're still trying to figure that out because again, we are trying to put our our funds into the short film that we were trying to do.
Yeah.
So right now, Perdition's kind of like just looming in the air, but hopefully eventually we can give it a platform and if it gets set to more film festivals, then we can try to promote it more. But if not, eventually we're gonna end up putting it on to be hopefully later this year. If not, maybe early next year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I know in the independent film world, we got to wear a lot of hats, right? We got to direct, we got to write, we got to film, we got to act, we got to all kinds of fun things.
Yeah.
Let's say we lived in a world where money wasn't a problem, right? Everything was just
Yeah.
taken care of. We're in Star Trek world, all right? Money's
Yeah.
not a thing. We just get to do what we're passionate about. What would you each of you choose to do if money wasn't an option? What would be your first choice job and then maybe second?
Let you go first.
Is this for like any job or is this
And
specifically stuff for like film?
um well, in film, in the film world.
Oh man. I mean, I would still probably stick. Oh no, you know what? Definitely producing. I would stick because I would like to still put like ideas out there. And if money was never a problem, I would love to work with other creative artists, and collab with other artists. Get ideas out there. If money truly was not an issue, I would love to do something like that and just get like put ideas out there, and just get people to whatever ideas they might have, whether it's horror, sci-fi, whatever.
I love that. If you truly care for someone, right, you want what's best for them, even if that's not you, right? So I love that perspective.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I think it's. I mean, I just love the idea of like, because that's also like a thing. Like, um, eventually, like as much as I love, writing and directing and everything. I've even talked about it with them.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'd love to run Bad Kids as like a production studio as far as like getting new ideas and artists even in the future. People that can come under our wing and we can help produce their stuff. Maybe put some money behind their ideas and if money truly was an issue, oh my God, and I would love to. You know, be behind like, oh man, these people, are able to put their ideas out there and put things.
Yeah.
I just think that'd be cool.
Awesome. And how about you, Ramon?
Um, I would stick with part of writing directing. I'll be honest with you, but to be honest, at the same time, like we have talked about, like obviously one day, of course, we all could, dream big, right? Hope we have our own studio and all that. But like as of right now, I would love to just keep creating like more films and um, make as many as possible, get as much ideas until my idea just kind of runs out, or but until like maybe down the road I might have an idea later on, but. I would probably just keep creating more films and, you know, basically just put as much stuff as out there as I can. Work with actors. Like honestly, I don't know if I would still want to work with big actors. I would probably still want to stay indie, just work with independent actors.
Mhm.
Just, give new faces, like a new face out there so people can see. I don't know, like maybe if I was to ever work with an actor, at least if I have a dream actor to work with, I would like to work with Jake Gyllenhaal. To be honest with you, he's one of my favorite actors. I think he's
Nice.
like a phenomenal actor. So I would love to work with him one day. But other than that, like I would just stick with probably indie, like indie actors. Stay independent because honestly, like granted, of course, like it costs some money to make a movie, but at the same time, like if you can find a way to make it cheap it and like cheap it out and still make it look everything look good, what I mean? Might as well just stay independent that way. Just make everything like no, like not too many cooks in the process of
Yeah.
like making a project. That's
Mhm.
what that's what could ruin a project. So I'd rather just stay low and just still like make as much film as possible.
That's what would stress me out too, in a
Yeah,
on an independent film set, you have a lot of volunteers and people that wanna help, but then you have to
yeah,
conduct all these people, and they're all looking at you like, "What do I do? What
yeah,
do you need? What do you do?" And it's like,
yeah,
"Ah,
yeah.
hold on, hold on."
I mean, like one at a time, folks, one at a time. So yeah, that would probably be the most stressful part. That's why I'm like, I'll probably still keep it small.
So have you gentlemen seen any, good films lately, independent or regular horror or sci-fi horror that you've been blown away from or inspired by?
Oh, you have to give me a minute on this one. Hold on, because there was quite a few movies that I seen that I was like, oh, that was
Yeah.
really good. You know what? I'm gonna say probably a movie from this year. Oh my goodness. Hold on, give me a minute. This is actually kind of tough. Most I'll let you go first.
I mean, recently, right? We're talking about recently.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just recently, like a
Yeah,
movie that blew my
last
mind.
couple of years.
Uh, oh, in the last couple of years. Oh, if I had
Oh,
to say,
Fast Couple. Okay.
yeah, if I had to say
Yeah.
like a movie that blew my mind, like in the last couple of years, definitely the last one I would have to say was The Substance. Like that was a movie that like was one of those like, oh, I feel like we just watched something special. Like,
Mhm.
this is one of those like again, when people are gonna look back and be like, oh, that's a classic. Um, so I would say The
And
Substance.
then the finale is just like, "Are they gonna go there? Are they gonna go there?
Yeah,
Yes, they went
they
there."
ended up going there.
It over delivers in the best way. Like it's oh man, it's one of my favorite body. I'm a sucker for body horror. That is one of my favorite genres. And like this just was one of those that just was amazing, amazing. 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10.
That's
Honestly, for me, I would probably have to say Everything Everywhere All at Once. That
yes,
was a
I
very
love that.
special movie because, like, it's funny because I remember he was like, "Oh man, let's see if it's good, and we'll see." I'm like, "No, come on, let's give it a
Yeah,
shot." And we ended up watching it, and sure enough, like that movie just like blew our minds. Like,
yeah,
this movie became a lot much better than I expected. The editing, like of course, like the way it was shot and framed, and everything like that was so amazing. Especially like us being filmmakers, watching that, we were like, "Okay, this is really good. Like, this is a well handled like editing process in a
yeah.
movie."
And being a
Storytelling
fan
too.
of
Story
Pulp
was
Fiction
beautiful.
too.
What
Being
happened?
a fan of Pulp Fiction too, and that film's really out of order and
Oh
it
yeah,
annoys
of
some people,
course.
but I haven't talked to anyone who was annoyed by the editing in Everything Everywhere All
Oh
at Once,
no,
so
no, like yeah, I mean, I know a couple people that, of course, there's always gonna be those that split divide. People are like, oh, it's okay. I'm like, really, dang, oh, whatever. But of course, I met other people that love the movie. Then we talked about it for like hours. It's like, oh, it's amazing. Like it was so great. This and that. So yeah, it
Oh
was a really good
man,
movie.
I should have said 28 years later though. If I had to also say
Oh, 20 years. Yeah, that was
yes,
really good. No one
yes.
likes that. I don't know why that movie has a split like like
Because
critics
it
wise.
was advertised as being a cult situation mostly, and when people went in, it was about life and death, and it was beautiful and amazing,
Yeah,
and
I
they're
thought it
just
was
like,
really great.
"Wait, oh no, it's making me think. No, I want a zombie movie. If you want another 28 days later, see 28 days later. If
yes,
you
Yeah,
want another
exactly.
28 weeks later, see that freaking movie." Like, let it
Yeah,
be
exactly.
something different, and the follow-up is amazing as well. So I'm
oh my god,
excited to
Yeah.
definitely.
see. I
Also
think
was
that
really fun.
they're doing 3, right? I think they're
I
doing a
think
3rd version?
I think it's up in the air from what I last.
yeah,
Okay.
I don't
I
know.
think the third one's getting I don't know if it was getting canceled or not, like, 'cause the second
Mm,
one, it didn't make his money back.
mm.
But it would be cool if they do a third if they could finish at least that trilogy, just make one more, and that's it, awesome, like, then that's the perfect franchise.
Mhm.
But yeah, I love 20 Years Later, that's such a good damn, that's a
Mhm.
good
Yeah, I know.
listen to
I know.
that.
I know. Just recently
Dang.
too. I was
A
like,
It's such a good
and
friend
I'm
too,
all
but
about the zombie dog. I'm like, "Zombie dog! Zombie dog!"
oh,
oh,
Like,
yeah. That was oh, gosh.
and I love that they put prosthetics over their actual penises, and that's why they look so ginormous.
Yeah, no, for
I'm like, "Thanks, guys. We appreciate it."
I was like, yeah, all right, whatever, I guess. I mean, they are zombies, so they're just out in the wild.
Right? Come on, what
it gets
happened?
hot.
They're gonna still
Zombies.
and
You
they're
know.
still gonna have all their clothes after 28 years? They're gonna be
Yeah, for
yeah,
real,
Exactly.
right?
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
No, I genuinely love. It's personally my favorite still so far. Like
Yeah,
that might be a controversial like opinion,
yeah,
but I think it's personally my favorite out of the franchise.
I
yeah.
just loved it. And now I'm like, I want to go to ossuaries. I want to I want to
Yeah,
go to
for real. It
Paris to
looks,
the catacombs and then see the beauty of the dead. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, no,
right.
for real. It looks, yeah, it was a really good movie.
Yeah, but that's. Did you have any favorites recently then? Like,
besides the ones you gentlemen mentioned, I really enjoyed
uh,
Weapons.
oh,
Have you
Oh,
seen
Weapons is
Weapons.
really
Weapons?
Oh, that's a
good.
That
great
was
pick
That
too.
was
that
really
was pretty
good.
crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Honestly, yeah, that was a good movie.
That
that
kind
was
of
a well
reminded me
advertised
of
film.
why you go to the theater to see horror movies.
No,
Because at
honestly.
the end
Yeah.
of the movie, somebody did the run, like in the
Oh,
movie, out of the
No, of course.
theater, and we're like, "Ah!"
that's
Oh my
awesome.
god. I always call that the like the Naruto run.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
I was like, "You're doing that?"
And we
Again,
were
another
like,
movie
"Not
about
cool, man. Too
Yeah,
soon, too
that
soon."
movie's gonna let the test of time, honestly. Like, I feel like that movie.
and Gladys is going to be one of those iconic characters over
Mhm.
time.
I can see Halloween this year already. People are gonna dress up as that. Like, I
Yeah.
already see that.
Um. But oh,
Oh, sorry.
So is there
Oh, sorry.
anything
Sorry about
else
that.
you
My brother
gentlemen
came
wanted
in.
to share about what you're working? No worries. So is there anything else you gentlemen wanted to share about what you're working on in the future, or where they can find you?
yeah. I mean, other than again, Perdition is still one of those things that is making its runs currently. So we're really honing on that to maybe see where we can kind of put it as far as platforms, and hopefully, we can you can find it on our social media on our Perdition page and on Instagram and Facebook, right? Perdition.
No, it's just on Instagram. We have prediction on. We do have a link tree, and we do have with our Bad Kids production. We have a YouTube channel as well. At Bad Kids Production channel. Usually, always just Bad Kids Production channel, and that's really about it. Social media wise, what we have. We usually have our own personal, but yeah.
As far as also like just future projects, again, like we have our short film coming up that we're going to be working on. As far as like, yeah, it's like kind of like this cult style VHS. It might sound a little bit cliche, but it is going to be, again, we're always trying to bring something new to the table,
Yeah.
so it's going to be something very different. I feel like hopefully people can be like, wow, okay. Again, it's for the horror community, so we're always trying to see
Yeah, well, we
where
try
our
to
fan
branch
base
out.
can be as far as in horror, because we're kind of everywhere. And So hopefully with that'll come out great when we work on it this year. But other than that, yeah, it's people can find us on our Bad Kids Production YouTube channel. Our Perdition page is also a really close link to, message us for any questions and anything in regards to any events. So
And I'll
Yeah,
definitely add that to the link once this video goes live so that everyone can just easily click and paste and find you guys.
yeah,
sounds good. Thank you
thank you
so
so
much.
much.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. And when you get that GoFundMe started, once we have a working title and you can reveal a little bit more for us,
Yeah,
definitely hit us up, come back on the show so we can try to help you get the word out there to everyone.
Thank you so
thank you
much.
so
Honestly,
much.
we appreciate you for this.
It's
Thank
been a
you.
pleasure to have us on here.
Yeah, thank
You're
you.
so welcome. It's been so much fun talking to you. How time flies
Oh
when
yeah,
you're
no,
having fun.
seriously.
So, guys, make sure that you like and subscribe to our channel. If you
It's important.
subscribe, we're currently doing a What's in the Box challenge in which Elvira herself donated an autographed, sexy as hell photo for us. So that will be included in the box. All you have to do is subscribe to our channel. And if you don't have like an email or something where we can find you if you're the winner, make sure that somewhere in the comments you leave us your email so that if you do win, we can find you. I like
All
those
right,
Yeah,
thank
you
cultists.
you
gotta
so
We
much.
can find you.
you gotta I'm telling you, they already tapped into this conversation.
Yeah,
I see why you guys got to keep it hush hush, when you're dealing with the
Yeah, that's what I'm
cultists.
saying. Like, no, not too much, not too much.
It has been
No,
so
but
much fun. You're welcome. And I want to show you how we
thank
say
you so much.
goodbye here at Delight and Fright. We're huge Cthulhu fans of the Elder God.
oh, cool.
Okay.
So we have a little tentacle action under the chin. Yeah. So that's how we say goodbye at Delight and Fright. Goodbye, everyone. Have a lovely night. Thank you.
Have a
Have a
good
good
one.
one. Thank you.
Hello, boils and ghouls. It's your old pal, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. And I want to thank you for listening to Delight in Fright with your hosts, Luna and Cat, a podcast for outcasts.